Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Ajwritescrypto, and this is a segment I like to call No Sweat Bets. Y'all know how much I love trading crypto, but at the end of the day, this channel is about making money. And so far in 2025, I've made over $200,000 sports betting, primarily on Polymarket. So today we're going to cover basketball, hockey, baseball, Poland politics, the Fed, Jake Paul. We got a lot to talk about right now. We do this show rapid fire, so let's get into it. Right now, we're at the homepage on Polymarket, and guys, there are so many money-making opportunities here on Polymarket. Right now, we have to pick up where we left off talking about the NBA championship. Right now, OKC is 80% projected to win. They still have one more game to win before they knock out Minnesota Timberwolves. That game is probably going to be the night. I will show you the spread on that game in a minute. And also the Pacers are 3-1 against the Knicks. But, game 5, it's actually funny. The Knicks are still favored to win, although they're at home, which is insane because the Pacers already beat them at home twice, and the Pacers are insane on the road. Why are they giving Knicks the favorite going into game 5? I will definitely be taking the Pacers for tomorrow night. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I want to talk about is that when I first started talking about Polymarket on Twitter, the Pacers only had a 3% chance to win the NBA championship. So those shares were worth 3 cents. Now those shares are worth 18 cents. That's a 500% gain. Just in 2 weeks, the shares I bought at 3 cents did better than most altcoins will do in the bull market. Absolutely insane call. And I really like it's going to be the Pacers versus the Thunder in the championship. I really would love to see the Pacers do the upset. We will talk championships next week, but the Thunder still has to knock out the Timberwolves and the Pacers still have to knock out the Knicks. So let's get past that first. First, let's talk about the individual games. So tonight, right here, you can see Timberwolves 76% chance. If you bet $1,000 on the Timberwolves, if you bet $1,000 on OKC to beat the Timberwolves tonight, you'll get $1,300 back. Making $300 on $1,000 bet. That's a heavy exposure bet just to win $315. The OKC is heavily favored to win this game because it's a home game. They're really good at home. And although the Timberwolves beat them one time at their own house, it was kind of a blowout home game for them. They're 3-1 in this series. They have to have some magic tonight if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. And, it is, $1,000 to win $4,000 if you bet the Wolves tonight. But in my opinion, that's a sucker's bet. They're trying to get you to throw that money away. I will be betting OKC tonight. It'll probably be a smaller bet because I don't want to have too much exposure just to win, 30, 31%. I like kind of the bets where you kind of 50%, 60%, or even double your money are the better situations. Let's talk about tomorrow night's game really quick here. Click NBA. So this is so funny right here. Pacers Knicks. So it is home game for the Knicks. Pacers are 3-1. They're 3-1, and they're still giving a heavy favorite to the Knicks. Why? The Pacers are so good on the road. They beat the Knicks in their own house twice. And now that the Knicks are coming home, they think they're just going to beat the Pacers and continue on. If the Pacers win the game tomorrow, they continue. That's it. It's over. I will be betting the Pacers tomorrow. I know it's betting against Vegas, but betting, $10,000 on the Pacers tomorrow night would give you $25,000 back. I will be stepping out. I don't always like to bet against Vegas, but talking a Pacers away game, the Pacers are like 5-1 for on the road games this playoff series. I'm going to be sticking with the Pacers for tomorrow. All right, let's keep it moving here. We have to talk about the Poland presidential election. All right. We talked about this last week on No Sweat Bets because they do runoff elections. So they do multiple elections. And when one candidate gets 50%, it's over. Well, the first election they did kind of eliminated everyone else and tightened the race between Raphael Trzaskowski, who is like center left wing for Poland, and then Karol Nawrocki. And Karol is, running as an independent, but he's actually, represents the right wing, the conservative side. And let's be honest, Europe is not ready to make a big conservative step to lean right like America has. And also, so once the first runoff election, we talked about this happened, this race, Raphael was really favored, as you can see on the chart here. And then the race got really close, 50-50 odds. And I wanted to bet Carol, but I didn't because I did a lot more homework on this. And the reason Raphael shares from last week went from 50% to now 70% is for a handful of reasons. One, he's mopping the floor in the debates. Two, Europe tends to be left center. They're not really big on the right wing, and I think it's going to take decades for them to make the type of step America has. And three, Raphael has really targeted the young demographic, the new voters, the cool thing to do. Him mobilizing, so all the voters that voted for other left center people have been mobilized really well to vote for Raphael, and he really did a great job targeting that young demographic. I think it's all but pretty positive here. Early June, I think June 2nd, they'll do the second. They'll do the next runoff election, and if you were to bet, $1,000, you get $1,400 back. $10,000, $14,000 back. I think betting Raphael for the Poland presidential election is a lock, and that is money that I will be making. I don't know about you. If you want to sign up for Polymarket, make your own decisions, but the link's down below. Have some fun with it. All right, moving forward here, I really want to talk baseball. All right, we are pretty early in the season, and what I like about Polymarket is that you don't have to, say you click on the World Series for baseball here, and you really like the Atlanta Braves, and their shares are at 5 cents right now. All right, say the Braves go on a run for the rest of the series, and those shares you bought at 5 cents go to 15 cents. Well, guess what? You just tripled your money. And you don't have to wait to see if they win the championship. You can sell your shares at any point in time. Even with the calls I've made with the NBA. Yeah, I think my public calls, I'm 8-4 on Twitter with the calls that I've made. But the 2 of the 4 games that my pick was wrong, I still made money on those bets because I sold my shares when the team I bet on was ahead in the game before the game was over. You can sell during the game at any point in time for whatever your shares are worth. One, make sure you're always targeting high volume things like week 8 against, a normal baseball game is going to have a lot less volume than a playoff baseball game. But when you're talking something like the World Series, this already has over 12 million in volume. My pick for this is the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are looking really good. Out of their past 10 games, they've won 9 of them. They're leading their division right now at the moment. Right now, you can get Philly shares for 8 cents. If those shares go to 16, 20 cents, I will take my double up and get out before the playoffs even start. I'm not saying the Phillies are going to win the world championship. I'm saying the Phillies are going to have a good enough run to get their 8-cent shares to 16 cents or a 70 to 100% gain is what I'm looking for. That is the bet I'll be putting in for the World Series for baseball. Obviously, we have a lot more baseball to play this summer before we get to playoffs. One observation that I've made that isn't really so much of a bet is what they're talking about with the Fed decision in June. All right. And right now, Polymarket is saying that there is a 96% chance that there is no change, that we do another pause with the Fed. We're not going to increase interest rates. We're not going to slash interest rates. We're going to do another pause. Why is that? Because the Fed is stuck with the tariffs. Really interesting article here. Not going to read the whole thing, but basically, in theory, those stiff tariffs are only on hold until July, pending negotiations over final tax rates with the Fed and officials and business executives left in the dark about key aspects of the upcoming economic landscape. What does that mean? What that means is that they can't make a big macro decision because they don't know the environment they're about to be in July once the tariff decision is made. And this is kind of more of a statement about the upcoming crypto bull run because, a year and a half after every halving has been the top. But every time that has aligned with the macro being in a phase of quantitative easing. So I really think the stars are aligning for, we might pause and pause again. But at the end of this year, hopefully the tariff situation gets worked out. The pro-crypto agenda from Donald Trump, not just from the federal level, but at the state level as well. States like Texas doing Bitcoin reserves. I think the adoption macro looks better than ever for crypto. But the money supply, basically the all risk asset markets, the stock market, crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever, it's all tied to the M2 money supply. Basically, if there's more money in the world, more money is going to flood into risk assets. So we need to be in a phase of quantitative easing to really have the bull run we're hoping for. So right now, when Polymarket is saying that the Fed is pausing, 96% chance nothing happens, this is just kind of telling me that we have more time to accumulate. This isn't really so much of a bet as it is a warning to be patient this year. I think we will see fireworks at the end of this year, if not early 26. The bull run we're all hoping for is coming. It's just going to take time for the macroeconomics, really for the money printer to get turned back on. Once that happens, we have a crypto bull run. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just a really interesting observation there. And that's why Polymarket is such an awesome tool to really see, what everyone is thinking. So far we talked about basketball, Poland election, the Fed decision in June, the baseball World Series. Someone did ask me what I thought about the Stanley Cup championship. It is getting really close here. I think it's really close between Florida and the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not gonna lie. I like Florida for this. Florida, it's a pick 'em basically between Florida, the Panthers and the Oilers. You put in $1,000, you get $2,000 back. Personally, I'm siding with Florida for the Stanley Cup championships. I will do that bet publicly on Twitter as well. I know it's a 70. I'm not going to bet the individual games, but I am going to bet that the outcome goes to the Florida Panthers for the Stanley Cup this year. Lastly, one more bet. I'm not going to even pull it up on Polymarket because there's not enough volume for it yet, but I want to talk about the next Jake Paul fight. Every time there's a Jake Paul fight, they hype it up like the other person's going to win. Mike Perry was supposed to beat Jake Paul. Mike Tyson was supposed to beat Jake Paul. And now, he's fighting a former champion, although I think he has a 56-4 record. And they're going to hype it up like this guy's going to beat Jake Paul. Let me tell you, a month from now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be betting on Jake Paul. Last time I bet $60,000 on Jake Paul to beat Mike Tyson. And some people were like, oh, he's an idiot, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, when you make $60,000, the haters can say whatever they want. So that's how I feel about that. Stay tuned for more. That fight is in about a month. When we get closer to that fight, we're going to break that one down, really talk about that more. So, guys, that's it for today for No Sweat Bets. We talked about the next two basketball games and the overall series. We talked about MLB. We talked about the Stanley Cup. We talked about the Fed. We talked about Poland politics once again. And I also told you what my bets are going to be for all of those things. So that is the value we bring for No Sweat Bets. Like I said, I've made over $200,000 on sports betting this year, primarily on Polymarket. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. But if you want to get involved, if you want to sign up for Polymarket, make sure you click the link down below. It's right down there. Big shout out to Polymarket for sponsoring this channel. Just a quick heads up, we will be live streaming tomorrow and Saturday. And with all that said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a safe rest of your day. Get rich or get wrecked. Peace.